Hello everyone. I normally don't do this. I don't really do a prediction or what to expect video for the future of this game. But since season 3 just came out, I might as well get the other 5-hour video I want to make out the way. And I'll get back to some Mortal Kombat stuff probably. But I don't want to talk about the next season because while not confirmed, it seems pretty likely. I speculation on what comes after that, I don't know, but I think there's a season 4 planned. I don't think there's much planned past that, however. And I just want to talk about what to expect in this game because there's actually some basis and stuff to go off of. A lot of just speculation from me, but if you're looking for what to consider for the future game, I'm just going to give you what I feel is the most likely outcome. Again, there's no evidence. There's technically no evidence of season 4. However, on Discord, Zydi, or how it's pronounced, did confirm there is more to come past this season. Of course, that doesn't necessarily mean another season, that just means updates. But the fact that we've made it, not only past the first season, we got a second season, and now we're even getting a third, it seems like we're getting at least a fourth season. I imagine we won't have to wait very long for it. And in the files, there are strings for the DLC. And we have one for season 4. So the numbers here, specifically the row saying DLC and then a number. So you've got DLC 04. That means the season number. And then you have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those are just the different packs within the season. And season 3 is exactly the same, just inside of the 4, it's a 3. So this is definitely referring to DLC content. The content itself, not in the files or anything like that, but it seems to be in the plans at the very least. And yeah, there's 4 packs. I'd imagine it's like season 3, because again, season 3 is the exact same thing. Season 3 technically has 4 DLC packs, even in the bundle. It has 4 of them. And it's quite strange, because actually one of those packs isn't really a DLC pack. It's free. It's a free download. And the one we had for season 3 gave us 5 music tracks and 10 singlets for Creator S, I think. Very oddly specific, you know. I'll take it, of course. I don't really mind. It's a nice little bonus. However, I feel they could have just patched it in like they have done with any other free content. It never had to be a separate DLC download. So I don't know if they're just doing that to make it seemed like they're being generous or something. I don't know if they think it makes them look better by having it as a separate listing. I don't know what's up with that, but I'd imagine season 4 will do the same thing. And if it does, then I feel we are in for the same formula as season 3. Which season pass 3, it's 3 wrestlers in a staggered release, 1 per month, even though the other 2 wrestlers already, you know, like they're in the files, they have all their moves available. We've seen modders get access to them. There's literally loading screens claiming Claudio and Jimmy here in the game when they're not yet. I think they just released, they put a set date on Claudio's next month in April, and not April, March, and then Jimmy here's in April, early April and early March, which isn't a bad rate, but it just does bother me when games do this, where they just hold off on releasing a very complete thing for nothing else but to drip feed the content and try and keep people around. And when the game's just dead, I don't think there's a point in that. Okay, of course, you're trying to resurrect the game, but one wrestler isn't going to do it. But that's a side tangent. The point I'm making is, I imagine season 4 will follow the same thing. 3 wrestlers, staggered release. Each comes with a bonus thing. Big or small, that is, because Jamie Hayter comes with like 5 music packs and that's it. Claudio comes with a lot of reskins. There's like 30, I think, which is quite a lot. I think it's even more than season pass 2 included. The second season pass, of course, also had 3 wrestlers, but that was a different format because there was a 2-pack and then a 1-pack, and then there was still a third DLC pack, and that wasn't even 4 wrestlers for a crappy game mode that nobody cares about, and rightfully so. So yeah, I think specifically season 3's format will be repeated. So just moving on straight to what I assume we're getting, and I'll explain more why, is I think we're getting Adam Copeland, which is still weird to say, Edge. We'll get Edge, Saraya, and Samoa Joe. And I mean, in general, these are big names, these are the ones you expect, especially Saraya and Joe, who have been around for a while. Joe is obviously the world champion. And then Adam Copeland, who is much newer to AEW, but probably the most wanted name to get put in the game, so he'd be a priority. And also, it's not like this game has like any specific deadline. It's not like they have another game in the works or anything. It's not like they're trying to be timely with anything. You know, we've got all sorts of wrestlers from different time periods in AEW. Some stuff has been updated with different attires. Some stuff is just very outdated. It's a whole mix. So I think Edge is actually a reasonable expectation because they're going to be working on these guys. It's not like they would have been working on a 4th season pass before Edge joined, you know? So it's not like they had anything in the plans that that just prevents them from adding Edge. And I have somewhat of evidence to back it up. It's Fightful Select's Patreon. And Fightful claimed that Saraya, Samoa Joe, Claudio, Swerve, Hayter, and Copeland have all recently been scanned. And this was a few months ago. I think the one about Saraya was well reported. And then, again, this is Fightful's Patreon. I don't have access to it. But someone who does has made this claim. Again, I haven't seen it with myself, but I believe it because Saraya being scanned and that's been used. And this aligns with Season 3 because 3 of these names are in Season 3. Hayter, Claudio, and Swerve. Which, of course, they're all relatively big names for AEW, but that's quite specific, I feel. You know? I thought you could have chucked in around there if you were just making up bullshit. So I think this is right. I think this is accurate. And if they've been scanned in, I imagine they're going to be added in. I don't see why they'd prioritise anything else. And if they've done it in a group of 3, in the files, you know, Season 4 seems to be following the same pack formula of 4 packs. I'd imagine the other 3 who aren't in this, Joe, Saraya, and Copeland, I imagine they'll be joining the roster. Also aligning with this is simply, in the files there's nothing for Season 5 or Season 6. However, there was stuff for Season 3 and 4 simultaneously. So it seems like 3 and 4 have been planned together as one, which I think will show in terms of consistency, because I imagine it'll be the same. Price-wise, I'm not so certain. That might be a different case. I'd imagine it won't get any cheaper than £14. It'll be at least 14 quid. If it will cost any more will depend on the side content. Of course, I'd expect a free pack with probably nothing of note in it, but a free pack nonetheless. So that won't contribute to the price. But then there's going to be stuff coming with each of these guys. And of course, it could just be more music packs and skins. Season 2 and 3 even have been doing that a lot. And the fact that it's gone it's not like this is new to season 3, so the pattern extends beyond the new season. Season 2, of course, had plenty and introduced the whole custom wrestler thing, and that's probably something that they'll just want to keep doing stuff with. However, I feel like we might get some big stuff. This pack has some big names anyway, in general. Former WWE guys, so of course they're going to be relatively well known. Edge, of course, one of the legendary wrestlers. And you got Saraya, one of the most popular women's wrestlers. And then the world champion, Samoa fucking Joe. So this is a pretty big pack. And with it, I'd hope we get some good bonuses. I'm going to just spit out some potential ideas. But this is the one where I'm a bit lost on what we could get. I think season 4, regardless, I think it's going to have these 3 names. I think that's what we're going to get. I'm not certain on what we get after. That's just more speculation. And I'm also relatively certain on release dates, because season 3 ends at the start of April with the Jamie Hayter DRC. They're probably working on season 4 right now, because season 3 is actually complete. So by the time season 3 is done, they'll probably be ready to reveal the next season, probably for the month after, May. Because season 2, Tony came out in January. Tony was also ready at the start of the DLC, funnily enough. So I guess they've started doing that, where they have the pack ready to release with all its contents, but they sort of prolonged, I guess, the prolonged release schedule. Whereas the first season, stuff actually wasn't ready, and that led to like delays and stuff. So, and that was very controversial. So maybe it's better. I don't know. But yeah, I feel this stuff will start, this pack, this season will start in May, and then it'll just be a month cycle per wrestler again. So that takes us to July. Over a year of the game being out as well. So that's something, and that might be a good stopping point for them, that they've spoiled the game for over a year. Because right now it doesn't seem like they're working on anything past it. They obviously might have plans, so we'll see. That's a whole separate thing to speculate on. But I do think this, what we get, and if it is the end of content, I'd imagine we get some big bonuses, but I'm not sure. So stuff that I expect. They've been doing arenas. They've had one for season 3, of course, the beach arena, or arenas plural technically, because that's 2. However, one is just a different time of day. And they actually have some unique interactables, or at least like reskin stuff. There's like coconuts, and there's like fucking life rings. Mess around and see. It's actually got different interactables, and I could see next season just doing another quirky, random, fictional sort of arena setting and doing that. But in terms of existing arenas, I'd imagine we get Collision. There's new learning streams that feature a lot, because they wanted to show more recent imagery, I guess. Which doesn't really mean much, because All In's also there. All In's another one that could potentially get added, but I wouldn't expect it, considering they haven't focused on anything regarding like specials, just the main 4 pay-per-views, and then the weekly TV arenas. In fact, I would have expected Collision as an arena being added before a modern Dynamite. I'm surprised they added an updated version of Dynamite and not Collision, where Collision has no new, no arena at all, I mean. And it's a bigger show than Rampage at this point. So I feel it just makes the most sense to have this one. Alternatively, I could just see him doing another wacky fictional arena. I don't know what that could be. I don't have any ideas. But I could see something like that. I'd expect an arena regardless, because we've had that for 2 seasons now. I'd expect that. And I think logically it should be Collision, because that's the main absent one. So yeah, I'd expect that. There's no evidence supporting this, though. The next thing I think is a bit of evidence supporting it. And just with Fight Forever as a whole, its main issue, I feel, and I know I'm not alone in having this opinion, the main issue is all the, well, not all, but rather the lack of match types. Because I don't think you need universe mode, because you can just do exhibition and stuff. A booking mode could help, I suppose. But I don't know anything is, people play exhibition if there's enough to fuck around with, enough options to sort of do your own universe and that. And I've been doing it, and I've been having a blast, even though this game does not feel designed for me to do like a simulation or anything like that. And I think more match types or options go the wrong way. If it's match options, and by that I mean like stuff like having a time limit, which by extension you could do an Iron Man match, or submission only, or pin only. Having just match rule options like that, 2 out of 3 falls, you get a lot of options without having to actually add any content. It's just unlocking access to stuff. In the files, there is even a time limit option. You can allocate a time limit stuff. And we have a timer in the game because the Exploding Barbed Wire Deathmatch has a timer. Also having a timer is the Paul White unlock challenge thing in Road to Elite. There is a timer perfectly functioning in the game, but you can't set time limits, even though time limits is a big thing of AEW. And by extension, having a time limit would give you something like an Iron Man match. Or just for the sake of accuracy, you might just want a time limit anyway, you know. This wouldn't be stuff I'd expect as paid DLC. In a season update, maybe. I'm a bit doubtful of it, though, because I feel like we would have gotten something by now. The Road to Elite match types, at the very least, which are canon. If they were to add that, I'd expect it as free content. And by that I mean stuff like the just multi-person ladder matches. There's a free reign Road to Elite. You could also have a 4-way with ladder matches. You could have a tag team one as well. I don't see why not. You can have the options for all that with the ladder match. Just have a ladder match under all the match types, all in a different person stuff. And yeah, tornado tag. There's not even a regular tornado tag option, which makes no sense. Such a simple thing to add, and they've been adding much more complex things in this game than the tornado tag option. And I really like tag team in this game. I think it's a great match type. I like doing tag team wrestling in any wrestling game anyway, but it's only like, I think the biggest strength of this game is the tag team stuff. Especially when they did some adjustments to how you do tag finishes. It's much more doable now. Certainly not perfect. The AI, your AI partner normally picks the opponent back up straight away after doing a tag finisher, so you can't even properly finish the match with it. But there's a lot of neat systems for that. And it would just be nice to have more options for tag matches. Like having tornado tags, by extension you get lights out and falls count anywhere rules to it. And then again, a ladder match. If you're going to have multi-person ladder matches, I don't see why a tag team ladder match wouldn't work. It'd probably be a bit scuffed, just because they're very strict when it comes to the requirements. Actually, no, they're not strict. I guess that's the problem. You feel quite limited, but in what you can do in a match without just costing it against AI in a ladder match, because it's so easy to just unhook the thing. Again, sliders would be another thing to make it like health sliders or momentum sliders, AI stuff with sliders. It's just something that can prolong match types and just give you that customization. That'd be another thing. Handicap matches as well. There's a gauntlet match that just isn't available. They added fucking Road to Elite, labeled it as a gauntlet match when it wasn't, before they added an actual gauntlet match. I feel like this is stuff we should have seen quite early on, and we've seen a fucking battle royale mode out to the game before we got these match types that are in the game and functioning and are just an option, really, and they're just not an exhibition. I think it's a shame, because all that alone would essentially double your options. It would double the options. It wouldn't necessarily be new content outside of the handicap matches. The Gunner match specifically would function very differently, but it would give you more options and more freedom and the ability to be more creative with putting matches together and offer that variety. And they still haven't done that, which makes expecting a new match type feel like copium. I feel if we get a new match type added, it'll probably go under paper. Outside of ones I mentioned just then, that are essentially just extra options or already in Road to Elite. And I think there's not really anything that can be added. I don't know why they have a 4-player limit, because I think you can increase the capacity, and the game's not really going to struggle because it's not very demanding. You know, it's on Switch, but I don't think that's why. The Switch can absolutely handle a couple extra wrestlers for a game that isn't graphically demanding like this. I think, at least. Again, I wouldn't know for certain, but I think. However, I don't think they're going to change that capacity. I don't know why it's set, but I don't think it's going to change. So I wouldn't expect a trios match time, which is a very strange absence in general, because they literally have a trios championship. But yeah, I wouldn't expect it. And then other match types are either just stuff you could add with adding some rules, you know. Even stuff like a table match, that could just be a fucking rule thing, really, because it's just changing a win condition. You don't have to add any new content, because tables are in the game. You just have to change the win condition. And I'm pretty sure AEW has table matches, so I don't see why that wouldn't be another thing you can add. Again, they ruin you those options. Probably more than an actual dedicated match type. But yeah, if I think we get a match type, I think it's a steel cage match. I think that's the most feasible one. There is a string regarding a steel cage in the files. So I think there's a plan for it. I don't know if it comes in DLC, in a form of DLC or what, but I could see it being a big bonus thing for a pack. And it's something a lot of people want. Also, you wouldn't have to worry about the matchmaking, because they just added a quick play thing, so it doesn't matter how many match type options there are for online. Online's dead anyway, of course, but if that was a concern of theirs, that's gone now. So maybe that's why we didn't get match types until now. Well, I say until now. We haven't got it. But in the future, maybe. I don't know. But that was my main thing for this game. Like my issues are relatively small outside of that. They add those match types, and this becomes an all-time game, I feel. I don't think we need to wait for another game. I feel this game itself, you add those match types, fixes a lot of issues. So I feel it would be cool if, Season 4 launch, the pack is a wrestler. I maybe start with Joe, because he's the world champ. You might want to prioritize him. Start with him. And then, like, the steel cage match, I could see that happening. In an ideal world, you'd have that launch with all the Road to Elite match options, which would give you so much more variety. And I guess by extension, if they do a cage match, you could have... I'd imagine if it's only a cage match, they don't open up your options, I'd imagine it would still be just a one-on-one match, even though they've done tag team cage matches. I imagine it would just get a bit too cramped, the ring. And also, we don't have tag options for stuff like Exploding Barbed Wire Deathmatch, so I don't really bother with that. But it's like another singles match gimmick. I could see us getting a cage match, which I don't think resolves the issue on its own. However, it would be a very great addition. And I think it could open the door to get more match types. But I don't think that's the main thing. Because without even adding new gimmick stuff, you can just have different rules, and again, I'm not really going to repeat it, but I think you get the point. But in terms of a DLC match, I could see a cage match. Obviously, also like blood and guts match, that's just not happening. A backstage area would be cool. I mean, we technically have one. You just take stuff from Stadium Stampede. But I don't expect that, because I think you just... that feels like too significant of a thing to just add in an update. I guess it was just like a backstage brawl, have a backstage area. And it's not like you can go backstage in the middle of a match. I guess that's feasible. I just don't think enough people are asking for it. However, no one's really asking for a lot of the side content these updates have been adding anyway, so I guess that's another possible one. I wouldn't expect that, though. I'd expect a cage match. I wouldn't expect the Road to Elite matches, because if they haven't added it at this point, I feel they've forgotten about them. Or they just don't care to implement them. I don't know. I don't know the reasoning. The last thing, and I don't really expect this, but I guess it's possible, is there's some sort of calendar thing in the files, and I don't really know how to describe it. But, you know, it lists stuff like this month and last month. So, like, some sort of calendar thing. That's literally it. You know, very hard reaching. I don't think it means anything. However, I guess it opens up discussion for a booking mode, something like that, where you have a calendar of some sort. Maybe just have a calendar in general for creating a show. You know, maybe like create a pay-per-view thing, like in the old games where you, in the old SmackDown vs. Raw games, where you can book your matches and then you just play them or whatever, which isn't... It would... I'd count it as a mode. However, it doesn't add proper content. It would just help for that exhibition, making your own universe mode experience. I think that'd be a neat tool. If it was a dedicated booking mode, which I don't expect, but I suppose it's possible, that'd be welcome. Because in terms of game mode, that's the only one they can add that would make sense and wouldn't be too demanding. Because something like a universe mode, you gotta do a bunch of cutscenes for that. A booking mode at its core, you don't need actual cutscenes. You can just have... The SVR ones are just text and stuff. I think the modern ones are MyGM. I think they're that too. I wouldn't know because I don't play those games. But yeah, a booking mode actually isn't too much to implement. Wrestling Empire added one post-launch. However, that is an indie game, so I don't know if that's very comparable. I would say it's possible. I wouldn't expect it, however. I could see something like a create a match card thing, though, or even a tournament mode, especially when it's like the Continental Classic. I could see them doing that, because I think tournament mode does change up the gameplay without having to implement stuff. I guess there's no discussion of how you can have match options. You can just give the ability to twiddle with some options, and then you add more variety. How Road to Elite technically does that, or it tries to, but it doesn't actually change the gameplay at all, because the AI isn't any different despite what they claim. There's no damage retention, so after a match, it's not a proper gauntlet match. It just takes you to another match. It is just randomized exhibition matches with no diversion from just a regular singles match. There is no different gameplay to Road to Elite, and that's why it fucking sucks. The rewards are very mediocre as well. Also, they specifically list it as singles, so I hate to think of this, but maybe that is something that they do in a future season. They have a beat. Was I calling it Road to Elite? If I was, I mean Beat the Elite, the Season 2 mode, which is barely a mode. So I guess they could add Beat the Elite fucking tag team as a separate DLC, which would be incredibly scummy. But would I put it past them? No. But yeah, in an ideal world, I'd imagine like you get the collision arena with one wrestler, you get match types with another, and then you get some sort of extra mode of sorts with the third. And I think that would help the game a lot. And those would be the sort of stuff that actually change people's opinion on the game. Because either you like the game and you can make your own fun out of it enough to stick around for these DLC characters, or you found there was nothing to do in the game and dropped it ages ago. And with having been doing DLC, nothing about it really would have your opinion change on it. So yeah, that's my half an hour ramble about just general speculation and stuff. Again, I wouldn't expect all that. I'm just listing the notable possibilities. Again, in reality, I if it's of the same format as season 3, then I guess I'd expect the same side content as season 3. I think an arena is likely. I don't know if it's collision, but I think getting an extra arena is likely. However, there was a beach arena in the files with season 2. I don't know if it means delayed or it just was just in the works. I could see that being part of season 2. That might be why there's one in this season, because they meant to have arenas as side content in season 2, and they just pushed that back. I don't know. That's speculation from me. So that might be why we don't get another arena, because there's not another one in the files. But who knows? But yeah, like wrestler skins and music packs, that could just be, we could just get more of that, more of the same for this season, which again I don't have an issue with, but I think they've got to somewhat shift their focus on what they're prioritizing for the game, because sure, the roster could do with more names, and these are certainly big names that people do want, and sure, they're adding, it's minimal, but it's still a good amount of customization options. They're kind of working on it. It's not enough to fix the issues with customization, but it helps. And music tracks are just so nothing that it doesn't matter. But yeah, I think we got to focus on some big stuff like match types. Again, I don't think we need like new game modes. I think that's a bit of an absurd ask when most games do not have anything like a universal or booking mode. You know, we can play a game without it. Of course, we have a career mode, not a great one, but a career mode nonetheless that is semi-replayable. I don't think anyone would want to replay it other than the fact that we kind of had to unlock stuff. But I digress. I think if we get some match type changes, then I will have nothing to really whine about. Nothing major. I'm not sure what to expect though. I think it's possible. Don't get your hopes up. But in terms of what I would expect as likely is these few wrestlers and an arena. I'd expect that stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.